we digress to get away from your subject.
Well, hey, to close out, I wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, I think it's incredible. Dollar Bill is here today, and
we're only clapping because I'm still alive. That's right.
I've listened so many times and seen you on TV, and just for the first time I was able to meet you today. Heck, they used to tell stories about you at Alabama Power, man, when I was working over there. But I mean, 50 years in radio, that's just incredible. And tomorrow's your last day.
Yep.
That is just wow. I mean, that's awesome.
And having a 50-year career in radio, I will say this, I've been putting money away in it because radio doesn't have anything for you when you're finished. And I'm going to be financially stable if I don't live past August.
You won't be fine.
I'm going to be fine.
And we can let's pass this around, dog.
Oh my God! I will say this.
All right, I will say this. You guys are the Historical Society here. Hysterical Society. Y'all do a great job with radios. It's amazing. It's great to be here. You know, all these years, I really just was in the shadow of greatness. I came here, when I first started coming to the luncheons, it was neat because I saw all the guys that I grew up, I grew up in town in here. I went to school here, Shades Valley High School, grew up here.
Go Mounties.
Yeah, go Mounties. And I'm telling you, I would see all these guys I grew up with, Langston and all these, Sterling Brewer, I used to watch him do wrestling with Tojo Yamamoto down at the Bowell Auditorium, Everett Holly, and just all these people and Tom York. I mean, you saw all these guys here that were like legends to me and celebrities. Then I noticed a couple of years ago that they were starting to get a little younger in the room, and I was getting a little older, and now I'm the old fart in the room, just about. I mean, all of us, it's amazing when you grow up seeing and hearing people in media, and then you turn around and look back. It's the most amazing thing. And I will say this: I've been blessed. This is a career that has its ups and downs. It's a horrible up and down life in radio. It has, as everybody knows. But I will say this: when you think that people will let you into their homes, let you into their cars, let you into their workplaces, they're letting you into their lives, and the relationship really starts to develop. It's not DJ listener, it's friends and family. And when you do it long enough, you really do create a huge family of listeners that you really feel close to, and they feel close to you. And it's really been the most amazing, blessed career a guy could have. I've been very lucky. So thank you for letting me be here for that, because it's a relationship. Then let's talk about Patti Wheeler. So I worked with Patti Wheeler. Many of you may know Patti and Doc, for many years worked together. And then I was their goat boy. I came in and I'd go out during their morning show and do all the crazy stuff and drive the van. And then when Doc started having seizures and he was having some problems with diabetes, I would fill in for him with Patti. So when he had to retire and then he passed away, I did the morning show with her. And I'd always been around her, but I'd never been around her consistently. And it's something when you finally find out that this woman you've been listening to for years on the radio had this velvety, deep, kind of deep, womany, velvety voice. She talked like this. And chain smoker. But anyway, Patti, when you find out that your partner that you're going to now spend years with every morning is a 375-pound, cigarette-addicted, scotch-guzzling nudist, hedonist, crazy person. It's amazing. And she was one of those brilliant human beings I've ever met. She really was. She could write copy you wouldn't believe. They called her Pounder Out Patti because she could pound out a spot that was just beautiful. You could read it cold and it would be, if it was a 30, you'd read it cold, it went 30 seconds. You read it cold at 60 seconds. She wrote, and everyone was different. Nothing was boilerplate. It was amazing. She was really smart, but she did live a hedonistic lifestyle. And so she just lived the way she wanted to, and she'd come to work many times. We were in the Towers building at ZZK, Beacon Parkway Towers, and so she'd come in at 4 in the morning. Well, nobody saw her. It was dark, and she'd come in, park, and come in. Well, many a times through everything except maybe the depth of winter, she came in wearing nothing but a t-shirt. no underwear, no socks, no shoes,
Really?
just a t-shirt and a purse with cigarettes and scotch. So she'd come in, and you know, it was pretty revealing because she was a large woman, and the t-shirt was not a large t-shirt. And so everything was pretty evident that she carried around in this mortal life. And she was a very exotic woman. She had a lot of parts, and they're big parts. Now she said when she was young, her bust measurement was a 38 triple D. By the time I was working with her, it was a 46 long. Gravity had been really hard on the lady. But she still came in almost naked every day. And I remember one time I had been working long for the radio station. A guy named Jordan Bullard was our general manager. He actually went on the intercom and said that they had an announcement to make that day. And everybody stopped to listen and see what was going on, because he rarely did announcements. And he gave it to, I think, Rusty Walker or maybe Jim Tice, whoever the program director was, to make the announcement. Patti had actually worn a bra that day, and everybody applauded and wanted to talk about it. So she would leave the building, though, when she got off the air. Of course, she would leave at 10-something in the morning. And you could hear people in this building, gasping and screaming when she went walking out to her car wearing nothing but a t-shirt. And the poor woman, she was a woman of large stature. The only other derriere I've ever seen larger than Patti's was the Clydesdale horses that came with the Budweiser. She'd go out and get it in a two-seater Porsche, and it would lean to the left, and off she'd go with smoking her cigarette and everything. And the woman just lived that way in the radio station. She didn't care what people thought. She didn't care. Now, she was a very kind-hearted person, but she was also kind of self-centered, because she just did what she wanted to do. She'd give me well, she actually did give a guy the shirt off her back. We were at a bar one night doing a remote. She was wearing a t-shirt, and the guy came in. Guy been overserved a little bit, but he said, "Hey, Patti, I like that t-shirt." She said, "You want it?" He said, "Yeah. When are you gonna send it to me?" She said, "I'll give it to you now." Took it off right there in the door of the bar, and they switched shirts. And of course, she wasn't wearing anything under, but she could have cared less. So Patti was quite the character. But I will tell you one thing. I've got a lot of stories about her, but I learned one thing from her that has really served me well, and I think a lot of people in broadcasting could use knowing what she said. She said she was always going to be herself on the air. She didn't make up anything, but she didn't hide anything much, and she talked about her life. She talked about her warts as well as her shining points. And you know, it was something people, whether you really agreed with her lifestyle or not, everyone could relate to a lot of things about Patti and really kind of liked her. And the reason was because she was real. She just was herself on the air. She never had to learn how to be something she wasn't. She didn't have to remember how to do certain or say things. She just went on the air as Patti. And whether you liked her or not, you got the real thing. So it's pretty amazing. Her husband?
Which one?
Well, she had 7. But 5 men, but 7 husbands. She married 2 of them twice. And then 2 of the last ones were not all just husbands, and they ran off together for a while. So this day and time, yeah, Patti was she went through husbands kind of like you do Kleenex, you know. But I will say this: she also had a boyfriend, and so she would tell her husband when she divorced one, she was friends with every husband she had. One of them was a big disc jockey in town. You remember Steve Norris, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Steve Norris was her second husband. Anyway, one of her husbands was on One Life to Live for years as an actor, Stephen Sutherland, who was a British actor. When she divorced a guy, she stayed friends with him, because she usually divorced him just because she got tired of him, but she didn't dislike him. So they stayed friends, and then she'd tell the new husband, "I've got ex-husbands, you got to be friendly with them, and I do have a boyfriend, and that doesn't change, and I'll go out with him every so often, stay with him a little bit, but you got to take." So as she continued to have husbands, she had more boyfriends and ex-husbands, you know. That's the way they did it. So yeah, a lot of husbands, crazy lifestyle. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to go so long.
Yeah, I'll just close up by saying, you know.
Yeah, how do you follow that?
I know.